Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Saturday stream, our Saturday thing that we do on these Saturdays at 8 o'clock. Once again, you know what time it is. It's time for the endless quest, the unrelenting journey to find a magic boyfriend. It will never end, apparently, because last time we had an early end with Gamblove as we actually did something different than what we usually do. We usually were summoning this demon who ended up killing everyone. This time, we did not summon the demon. We had sex in the graveyard. We ended up dying anyway. So, I'm assuming there's another way out. I'm assuming there's something else we can actually do to find our eternal love, our magical, supernatural love, and actually get out of this without dying in some way. As usual, we have a new soundtrack for the week as a soundtrack for love. A soundtrack for trying to find our unrequited love in life. This week, since of course Halloween is approaching, and this is a very scary game, very intense game, we're playing the soundtrack from a very scary, intense game itself. This week's soundtrack is House of the Dead 2. Now, we have to choose a name. So, what do we go with this week? The first week it was Neo Hoku-chan. We know what happened to her. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, as we know, is quite supernatural herself. Quite a frightening person, but she doesn't actually talk in her game. I don't... Some people saying Bully Demise. The Bully Demise, how would he even talk? He never seemed like someone to me who was interested in supernatural love. Goldman. Uncle Christie, Tom Schatz, Bully Demise, play as myself. Let's see. I mean, it was an early lead for Bloody Mary, but now Bully Demise seem like it is coming up. Alright, it seems like the most consensus there's been, Bloody Demise, yes. The most consensus there's been so far has been Bully Demise. I guess we might as well leave it up to Oddme. So let's say number 1 for Bloody Mary, number 2 for Bully Demise, number 3 for, well, some people were saying just play as myself. Number 4... was there really a fourth one that came up? Let's say Agent G, because some people were saying him from House of the Dead. So number 1 was Bloody Mary, 2 Bully Demise, 3 myself, 4 Agent G. Alright, so far it looks like... number 2 and 3 are kind of in a... number 3... Myself? Really? Trying to find supernatural love myself? I don't know. Well... I guess, if that's what you're voting for, I guess that's what we're going to be doing? Alright, I guess that's who we're going with. It's kind of hard it's kind of hard for me to imagine myself as myself. So... maybe I need to just make a little alteration to that, and instead of myself, just have it be a friend of mine, I think. I think you know him. He's a little shy, so maybe trying to find a supernatural boyfriend would get him to break out of his shell, maybe? I mean, he really does need some encouragement. Alright, playing video games. Old PVG. What major do you think he went into? I can't remember myself. I can't really remember if he was a history major, a photography major, or a biology major. It's on the tip of my tongue. which one of these majors he went into, but I can't really remember it myself. We've seen all three at this point, I do believe. It looks like number 2 is pulling up. Photography major. We'll go with that, yeah. I mean, that does seem like something that PVG might have been into. We've already seen this, of course. Doing the report, late, 4-page paper, due tomorrow. We know about this already. Rick and Mike. Yeah, we know about Rick and Mike. Rick likes to write about The Simpsons and Powerpuff Girls in his college papers. Somehow, that's not a problem. Mike is soulful and quiet. We know where both of these lead, chat. We've done both, but it's the only choice we have. We can't just say not to do either. Do we hang out with Rick with 1, or hang out with Mike with 2? You have to choose one. It might be kind of nice if they just let us blow them both. Well, I mean, ignore both of them if we know how this is going to go already. So if we've done it a few times. Looks like you're saying we need to hang out with Rick. So we're gonna go with Rick, with page 6. We meet Rick down in the parking lot by the dorms. We already know this dialogue. Okay, once again, new choice, hanging out with Rick. We can go to the planetarium show, we can go to the Life of Early Man exhibit. Now, the first time we went with Rick, we went to the Life of Early Man exhibit, if I remember this correctly. And then Mike broke a pot. There was a tooth in it. We didn't really do anything with that tooth, but it was there. It looks like most of you are saying, you want to see what this planetarium show is all about. Yeah, I agree. I like planetariums. Okay, this is new, so let's start here. When you walk into the planetarium, the dome ceiling overhead is a dull gray. The room is circular, with large, comfortable black seats surrounding the giant projector in the center of the room. You and Rick take seats in the middle of one section. How did he talk? These seats are great! Something like that, he says, rocking back and forth. Where's the cup holder? Can we order popcorn too? Somehow I don't think so, you say. Knock it off already, you're making me motion sick. I'm never good at sitting still, sorry. He stops rocking, then starts to tap his feet on the ground. You place your hand on one of his knees. He throws his hands up. Okay, I'll try to behave. He doesn't complain when you don't remove your hand. Instead, he starts tapping his fingers against the plush chair's armrest. Rick, you say, you're gonna drive me crazy. I know, I have a problem, I guess. Give me a second. And with that, he leaps up from the chair, leaving it rocking with the force of his sudden departure. You watch, mouth agape, as Rick sprints around the full outer length of the circular room, stopping once to try to high-five an usher. Instead, the usher takes Rick's arm and escorts him back to you. If your friend can't control himself, he's going to have to leave the theater, the usher says. Yeah, sorry, man, Rick says. No need to be a downer. I'll make him behave, you promise. The usher raises an eyebrow at you both, then returns to his post at the exit. You grab Rick's arm. Rick, you better calm down, or you're going to get us kicked out. I'll be quiet playing video games, I swear. I know I get carried away. As he promises, you find himself looking into his hazel eyes. He sweeps his hair away from his forehead. You find yourself a little less irritated with him. Finally, the lights dim, and the planetarium ceiling becomes alive with bright points of light. A narrator's voice booms out in dulcet tones over the sound system. You settle into your seat and start to relax. 5 minutes into the show, Rick deepens his voice and starts imitating the narrator. And here, we have the Milky Way. Unfortunately, the candy bar it's named after is much tastier and far more interesting. Rick doesn't seem too impressed with the wonders of the cosmos. You have a bad feeling Rick is going to get you both kicked out of the show. What will you do? Well, chat, this doesn't seem to be a show that Rick can really get into. He needs to be more hands-on, more action-packed. Do we try to engage him with what's going on with 1? Do we grab his hand to bring the point home that he needs to shut up with 2? Or do we forget this whole ordeal and leave because Rick is such a dumbass? Which one is it, chat? Okay, it looks like you're going to adapt to the situation. Instead of trying to get Rick to change for the show, you decide this is really just not for him, and that he needs to get out, if nothing else, out of respect for the other people in the show. It seems like your luck with men hasn't amounted to much lately. No, it hasn't. It's amounted to us dying over and over. Deciding to ditch Rick is an easy decision. It's only the work of a moment to dig through your bag and find the small packet of dried agrimony. Agrimony. You grasp one of the smaller flowers and crush the powder in your hand. Holding it in your closed fist, you tap Rick on the shoulder. He stops gesturing and talking long enough to look at you. You open your hand and pucker your lips, as if you're about to blow him a kiss. Instead, you blow the agrimony powder into his face. Rick gasps in surprise, inhaling some of the fine particles as you whisper, "There's something." Are we casting a spell on him? I don't know, that seems a bit abusive of our amazing powers. Smiling, you watch as Rick blinks twice. He leans back into his chair, his head falling forward onto his chest, hair spilling over his eyes. You lean over his armrest and place your ear close to his nose. His breathing is quiet, and a gentle snore reverberates through his chest. Okay, PVG just had no patience at all in Rick's antics. You dust your hands together to rid them of the remaining agrimony powder. Patting Rick once on the arm, you gather your backpack and leave the darkened theater, nodding to the usher on your way out. Glancing at your cell phone, you find that you'll have enough time to walk back to Drew Drive to meet at Mara's house for the Wicca meeting. You know, I have to say, Vampire Boyfriends gave us a more variety. There was more variety of paths, you know? We could go to the bar, we could not go to the bar. We could leave the bar early, we could go off with Royce and get killed. There were a few things we could do. This one, it's just go meet a friend, either Rick or Mike, then go to this Wicca meeting. I don't want to go to the Wicca meeting. There needs to be something else. Is that the game over sound? There has to be something else, but apparently we just keep getting ramrodded into this Wicca meeting. Okay, this is the same thing we've already seen before. Okay, we're meeting Theo and Devin. They have the Necronomicon. They playing video game. Okay, we have to decide whether or not we want to help Theo or Devin, or both, with the Necronomicon. We've tried both. We know what happens then. We've tried Theo alone. We know what happens then. We haven't, the first time round with Niohoku-chan, we went with Devin, but that was in the school. That actually was a different path than what we're doing here. So I don't know if helping Devin here will go to that same path or something different entirely. But it sounds like you want to go with Devin. If nothing else, I guess, because it's the only one we haven't tried. Maybe we won't actually die this time. Though I don't have my hopes up. Like a rock, you say. Theo, why don't you let Devin show me? He was the one that found the book, you say, reaching out and taking Devin's hand. Theo shrugs his shoulders. That's the way you want to be, fine. Instead of turning and going into Mara's house, he stalks off down the broken steps and onto the driveway, kicking at gravel as he goes. Bye, Theo, Devin calls. Without looking back, Theo raises his hand, middle finger extended high over his head. Then he disappears around a bunch of bushes lining the sidewalk. Devin squeezes your hand. He's a sore loser. Don't let him get to you. You roll your eyes. I'm not a prize to be won. Devin faces you. Of course not. That's not what I'm implying. But time alone with you is a coveted, precious commodity. He smiles, his green eyes glowing emerald in the spring sunlight. Want to get going? I know a place where we can look through the book and won't be bothered. Is it in the school? Is it in a school building? Because I think that we know where that goes. You nod your assent. Devin leads you off Mara's property, heading back in the direction of campus. It's a 10-minute, Georgia O'Keeffe Arts Building, right? Dramatic music as we enter the building where we're going to end up summoning this demon. We see his art project. We're a photography major. I wonder if that's how it went last time, or if we were a major in another subject. Not sure. Right, I think this is this is exactly how it went the first time. Right, there's his art project. We are very impressed because he was given all this marble to carve. So we're all very impressed with his artistic ability and the confidence that the professors have in him. Okay, yes, then we're given the option to jump his bones. Well, chat, this was, Is OddMe going to register that? OddMe. Wait, there you go, okay. So, did we actually go through the entirety of the House of the Dead soundtrack already? Sure, it was longer than that. Hold on. Thought it was longer than that. Alright, we'll just start that soundtrack over again and see if there were tracks that were not loaded up there. Okay, anyway, while I was doing that, you all were making a vote to jump Devin's bones right in the classroom, because we didn't do that last time. We thought other of it, and that actually worked out very poorly for us, but PVG is much more forward. Devin is already seated on the floor, his back to you. The spell book is open in front of him, and he's studying it intently. It looks like it's written in calligraphy. Check out this ink. It's so interesting. A blend of red and black. It almost looks like rust. He runs his hands over the page. You'd much rather be running his hands all over your running his hands over your body. Okay. You take him completely by surprise when you sit behind him, pressing your body into his back and wrapping your arms around his chest. You slide your legs forward to press against his. He gives a slight gasp of surprise, which only makes you smile. You dart your tongue out and lick his ear. Save the spells for later. I have something else in mind for right now. So was this basically how it went when we decided to jump his bones later on? You were saying it added a page? Alright, I can't remember if this is exactly how it went, so I guess we'll just keep going with this. You're pulling your shirt back on. Oh yeah, that's right. They censor they edit out the scenes in Hex Boyfriends, whereas Vampire Boyfriends was considerably more explicit. We don't know if Devin has a mouth guard that he's gonna gum us with, so who can say? You're pulling your shirt back on over your head when Devin says, well, it's a good thing class wasn't in session. And then deep down you kind of wish that it was. You chuckle. If class was in session, If class was in session, I might have just dragged you into the supply closet over there. You indicate the closed door in the corner. Devin blushes. You keep blushing. I can't help it. He turns a deeper shade of scarlet. Okay. You tell him, I'll leave you alone. You lean down and throw his jeans to him. He steps into them, buckling his belt over his waist. I suppose we can try the spell book, you say, grinning. Now that I've had my way with you. You didn't know it was possible for a human being to turn that dark a shade of red. Ears flaming. Devin hands you the tome, sitting side by side on the floor. You both study the summon friendly guardian. Yep, it's this again. We are casting this spell, Summon Friendly Guardian. Oh, we're still grabbing Devin for a kiss during the spell? That was the whole reason we jumped his bones now, was because last time we didn't. And then when we cast the spell now, we tried to get on him at that time, and then everything went bad, but we're doing it anyway. We are doing it anyway. This is not making a difference. Yep, the demon. It's coming out of the portal. It's gonna kill everyone. Okay. Chat. Do we attempt to find a better hiding spot or escape the room? Last time we were doing this, we escaped the room, That did get us out alive when we tried that. We don't know what'll happen if we try to find a better hiding spot. We don't know if that is something that will lead to our deaths instantly, or will it lead to different paths? We don't know. We do know escaping the room will allow us to get out of this building, so it's up to you which way you want to go with this. Escape the room had an early lead, but finding a better hiding spot, it's pulling up. It's pulling up, chat. We can't have this sort of indecision in this life and death situation, chat. We need to be decisive. We need to know the answers right away. And okay, so we're gonna say number 2. We're gonna say escape the room. Okay, we already know what happens here. We jump out of the window, crashing through. We fall to the ground. Remember how this went. Then, yeah, we're going to the library. Okay, so last time we asked for Ms. Newkirk's assistance, who told us where to go. We did not try taking cover in the stacks and searching for the spell tome ourselves. We don't know what that'll lead to. We do know that Newkirk will tell us where we can find it. We did it before, but maybe it's the right thing to do. You're saying it is the right thing to do. You're saying ask her for assistance. After all that running, you're still gasping as you attempt to talk to the librarian. Where's the section on the occult and creatures of the nether realms? You ask her, still trying to catch your breath. Ms. Newkirk gestures towards the back of the library. In the basement, of course. It's not a very big section. In fact, it didn't even exist until I joined the staff. It's my pet project here. I received a faculty... Actually, we already read all this. That's true. This is just the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. We run to the basement. We find the books. There they are, covered in webs, obviously highly used. We find out that the demon is called an Aberrath. What do we do to stop the Aberrath? We're going to possess a demon, which seems like the worst idea ever, but we're back here, and it is the only decision we can make. Well, chat, is Devin gonna host this demon? Or are we gonna host the demon again? We remember what happened. We hosted the demon the first time, and things seemed like they might go alright, but chat, you decided that we were going to give in to the beast. That's on you, chat. It looks like you're saying this time we're gonna have Devin do the honors. Maybe we'll have to kill him. Wouldn't that be a shame? Alright, you say, but I'm only allowing you to inhabit a demon because I don't think you'd be able to get me back out. Thanks, I guess, Devin says. I appreciate your confidence in my abilities. You just need more practice, that's all. The summoning and binding spells are simpler, so you can handle them. Okay then, he says, rubbing his hands together. How do we do this? You can't help but grin at his enthusiasm. After studying comparing the brown tome to the dark, heavy black spellbook, you find the suitable answer to your problem. You gather the components. It's a good thing Devin had a spare dried viper's tail on him. Don't we all? And instruct him to crush them all to powder in his hands. Taking the resulting dust, Devin rubs it all over his exposed skin. He's starting to sweat, so everything sticks. Oh, gross, he mumbles. Perfect, you say. For the next 10 minutes, you tutor him in summoning and binding the Grelling, a hulking, shaggy, troll-looking beast that finds the taste of humans repulsive. Its size and dislike of human flesh are the main reasons you've chosen it as the demon for Devin to command. When Devin is ready, you stand back. He holds the heavy black tome in his hands, breathing deeply. Then he begins, almost shouting the words. You can feel the power crackle around the room as it focuses in on Devin and the strength of the spell he recites. He clenches one fist and stares down at the tome, his voice growing louder and louder, willing the Grelling to obey. As he finishes the incantation, the concrete floor buckles. The bookcase tilts forward precariously, nearly spilling its contents onto the floor. You almost lose your balance. As the ground begins to crack more and more, Devin backs away and stands beside you. "I'm going to start the binding ritual," he shouts over the breaking concrete. You nod your head, trading him the black grimoire for the slimmer brown volume. He opens to the correct page as the grelling makes its way through the floor. The concrete cracks away, leaving a gaping hole in the ground. One giant paw grasps the edge of the opening, then another. The grelling pulls itself up and out of the fissure, stooping over in the low corridor. Its eyes are small and piggy, its face and head reminding you of a gorilla's, its entire body covered in long, shaggy white hair. It falls to all fours like a dog, resting on its paws. You notice it has a tail, long and lithe, also covered in the same carpet of white hair. The beast is like a cross between a snow leopard and a monkey, and huge. Its eyes are small and piggy. Didn't we already say that? Oh, we did. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Okay. His body now becomes translucent, then disappears entirely. The spell tome drops to the floor, and you rush to pick it up. The grelling is now staring down at his body. "I guess it worked," you say. The beast looks up and attempts to say something, but all that comes out is growling. "I can't understand you, Evan." The grelling tries to give you a double thumbs up, but then realizes it has no thumbs. Why didn't it do an illustration of that? That sounds like the best illustration we could have had so far. Instead, it rears back onto its back paws and does a jig. "That would definitely be you in there, then. Come on, let's get up there before the aberrith does any more damage." Devin has to squeeze his new demon's body up the narrow staircase. When he emerges into the study area of the library, tons of dust covers the brilliant white of his long fur. He shakes himself like a dog, and the dust flies. Students scream and flee! One girl faints over her textbooks. Devin looks down at you and shrugs his shaggy shoulders. Walking to the front entrance, you see Mrs. Newkirk behind your desk again. She emerges to block the entranceway and looks at you and Devin, her hands on her hips. "I wondered what all of that noise was. I hope you put everything back where you found it." She looks to the brown tome in your hands. "Are you taking that? I have to check it out for you." She arches one eyebrow as you hand her the tome. "I need your student ID, please. Just because you turned your friend into a Yeti does not mean you get to forego the rules." After you dig through your bag and find your ID, she stamps the book for you and writes in the due date. All the while, she eyes Devin's new form. "Does this have to do with all of the screaming I hear from outside?" "Yes," you say, then you pause. I can't believe you didn't run away when you saw him." You jerk your thumb at Devin's beastly form. Ms. Newkirk snorts. "Someone has to keep an eye on this place and keep everyone quiet. Besides, I experimented in my youth. Nothing as serious as what you're doing, however. I hope that you're being careful. Now, go on, make all of the papers so I can get this on permanent record for the collection, okay?" "Of course," you tell her. Ms. Newkirk waves goodbye. Devin clambers over the turnstiles and pads to the library door. Even on all fours, his head is level with yours. You push open both double doors, and he shoulders his way outside into the fresh spring air. You can see the lawn, Mountain State's main quad in the distance. It's in the state of complete chaos. The aberrith's huge form is visible, chasing after one person and then another, apparently unable to make up its mind about who it should eat first. Students are running in every direction. Various members of the faculty try to keep the crowds calm, only to give up and also flee. Beside you, Devin snarls. You can almost feel the rage pouring out of his borrowed demon body. "Are you okay?" you ask him, placing one hand on his shaggy side. He rounds on you, growling and baring his teeth, the sharp claws extending from his large, padded paws. "What the hell, Devin?" you say, backing away. "What's gotten into you?" Did Devin see you go on a date with... Okay, so I guess if he saw us with Mike, I guess, previously? Because there was, one time we played it, Devin could see us with Mike, so if we did that and he saw us, maybe this would have something to do with this choice right now. But we didn't, so we're going to 147. At the sound of your rebuke, Devin shakes his demon body, white fleur flying. He whines, rolling onto his back, paws waving in the air. It's all right, you tell him. Just try to remember that you're really human. Still showing you his belly, he sneezes. You put your hands on your hips. That was almost cute, but seriously, we need to get moving. Your gaze returns to the Aberith tearing across the lawn. People are gonna get hurt. With an answering snort, he rolls to his paws. Using his new demon body, Devin starts to sprint towards the lawn. His white fur streams behind him, his tail swaying back and forth, helping to balance him in his headlong rush. You're left behind, staring in shock. Devin! You yell and run after him. But he's wasting no time. As you chase him, you can see his borrowed white body reach the quad. He rushes over the green grass, paws tearing up clumps of earth as claws grip the ground in each huge stride. You're just reaching the outer edge of the lawn, when Devin lowers his head and slams into the Aberith full tilt, sending both of them to the ground. You stop on the sidewalk, trying to haul air into your lungs. You crouch by a nearby tree and watch the two demons battle. Devin is first to his feet, taking the advantage of his surprise attack, standing over the Aberith and swiping at his face with the grelling claws. The Aberith snarls, trying to tear at Devin's body with its horns, snapping at the white furred body with its razor-edged teeth. The Aberith, pinned to the ground by Devin's bulk, is never able to gain the upper hand. Finally, in one swift movement, Devin leans in, ignoring the Aberith as it claws at his body. Using the grelling's strength and quickness, he sinks his teeth into the Aberith's throat, ripping out his jugular in one motion. Wow. Devin doing much more of an efficient job with the grelling's body than we did. Blood sprays across the grass. The Aberith flails, its legs and arms pounding at the earth in its last moments of life. Then, it's still. Devin shakes his head, droplets of blood flying off of his fur. Then he extracts himself from the Aberith's corpse and trots over to you. That was amazing, you tell Devin as he returns. Devin licks his grelling lips and gives the approximation of a demon's smile. I could kiss you right now if your face wasn't covered in blood. And if you were human, you tell him. Devin's grelling body huffs a sigh. Yeah, you say. Now hold still. You grab the brown spell tome and ingredients from your backpack. Holding a small rowan twig in your right hand, you keep the tome open with your left and begin the incantation to remove Devin from the grelling's borrowed body. At the end of your chant, nothing happens. Devin remains trapped in the demon. He lets out a small whine, pawing at the grass. You scratch at your head with the rowan twig. Let me try again. Again, you recite the incantation, trying to force more power into your words. Again, nothing happens. Devin is still a grelling. You slam the book shut, dust shooting from its pages. I don't understand why it's not working. It's an easy spell. You jam the tome into your backpack and look up at the sky, trying to think. If you don't act fast, Devin might become trapped in the body of the demon. You place one hand on his shaggy head, fingers running through the long, soft fur. In the distance, you can see the cross of the chapel standing out against the afternoon sky. Perhaps the campus chaplain can help? Another option would be to go to Tamara Quillen, the owner of the Willow Magic Shop. You've always gone to her store for components, and the Wicca Group is forever whispering about how she belongs to the most powerful coven in the region. Well, chat, we have another choice. This is quite different than what we've seen before, so good job so far, in that the Aberith is dead. But we have to get Devin out of this grelling's body, and how are we going to do that? But you know, it has been a half an hour since we started this gripping tale of magic and romance, so it's time to take a little break for a few minutes. When we come back, we'll be deciding whether to go to the chapel or do we go to the magic shop. So I'll be seeing you in a few minutes back here.